immaculate concept from the eternal heart. With what radiant perceptions we behold thy love. How thy glory seals the magnificence that is the conception of the divine embryo within the heart of God. You, beloved one, as expressions of the gentle felicity of heaven, are destined to be knights and ladies of heaven. Under the protection and the honor guard of my own beloved consort, Saint Germain, you shall be in the vanguard of those who light the way for other men and women, born of the same flame, conceived with the same immaculate hope, and cherished equally, but wayward sheep gone astray from the sheepfold of the Father, they wander as scattered upon the hillsides, and no unity is present within them, for they have forgotten the realms of light. They have unfortunately exchanged their virtue and their purity with all of its comforts for the lesser transitory and passing pleasures of the world and those who are of the world. How I long to bathe them, to dress them, to array them in the shining raiment with which I surrounded my Son Jesus in my thoughts from the day of his birth, following him in my thoughts as he took every footstep from his first until the last footstep upon the mountain Golgotha prior to his resurrection. I also received in joy the announcement of his resurrection. I joyously beheld him rise into the air, into that glory of the octaves of light and the peace of the eternal presence. The garments that he wore, woven often by my own hand, the garments which he cherished, even his seamless robe, in itself would not have served to protect the precious energies of his life stream. But it was the seamless electronic garment of light which surrounded him and rendered him invisible, invulnerable, and complete within his own orbit when the Pharisees and the Sadducees both sought to take him, when he was denied and forsaken, when mankind found no room within the inn of their own hearts for his birth. Joseph, your beloved Saint Germain, and myself sustained him during his early years and gave him the comfort of our love. Our love followed him down through the path of the years, but it was my love that surrounded him with a seamless garment of light. For even when he was busy preaching unto the multitudes, healing the sick, casting out demons, and rendering an incomparable service, on behalf of God to man. My love surrounded him and my prayers sustained him during those times when he himself, although always conscious of God, did not have time for a more formal utterance because of the service he rendered. Behind every soul, precious ones of the light, serving mankind and serving God, are holy women and holy brothers, sustaining and carrying the torch for others. These are not chronicled among mankind, except for a few cases in comparison to the great service rendered. And therefore I would like to tell you, beloved ones, that there are recording angels, and that the recording angels do note every worthy deed. So no life stream anywhere upon this planet, in all of its rolling broad expanse, need ever fear that the great King, the ruler who has dispensed to his stewards his kingdom, shall cause them to suffer any lack of reward for the virtue which they do. And if they do virtue, expecting a reward, let them know that that reward shall surely come. And yet, in a sense, they have their reward in rendering the service. For when love is understood as it ought to be by mankind, it is not a service rendered in hope of recompense, but a service so frequently rendered under hopeless conditions where no recompense seems to be forthcoming. Yet the law is just and beautiful. The seed time, the summer hours, and the time of harvest, all are part of the great plan. Even the sleep of winter and the quietude of the seasons, when all life awaits breathlessly the coming of spring, is a part of the divine plan. And in a way, beloved ones, it is a fruitful time as well. Precious ones of the light, your energies are utilized during the day, during the time of sowing, during the time of tilling the soil, during the time of harvest. During the winter, the energies of men employed in agriculture are quiet. Well, precious ones, the night hours are also comparable to the quietude of winter, and therefore while your physical form sleeps, all seems peaceful and beautiful. It is during those hours, if you are properly guided, that so much service can be performed at inner levels on behalf of mankind, for it is then that you are cut free from the vibratory action of the outer world conditions. And if you will, you can offer your energies to me and to those of our consecrated band, that we may render a service of pure divine love to the youth of the world. I stand here before you now, beloved ones, to tell you that the plight of the youth of the world, including America, would almost seem frightening if it were not for the realization that the great power of God is able to change all outer conditions. If mankind only realized the great need, they would arise not only to decree, but to serve the youth of the world by directing their energies back to their God source. The youth of the world have looked for an example to the more mature among mankind in physical expression. They have not always found it. So frequently, the manifestation of example has been a bad example, an example unworthy of the Christ image, unworthy even of the Holy Family or of divine parentage. Men and women have seemed unconcerned, surfeited by their own pleasures as to the happenings which might occur in the lives of their progeny. Without this concern, without this great love, how can they nurture the tender shoots, the tender plants, the tender living expressions of God that should and ought to compose the Holy Family? Precious ones of the light, there is a mission to serve. There is a sacrament to be observed daily, the protection of the youth of the world, the holding of an immaculate concept for them, and the militant invocation of that concept into their mind, world, and affairs. You are the authority upon this planet. You are knights and ladies of heaven. In potential you stand to serve as Saint Germain and as I myself would have you to serve, to cut this blessed world free from that vibratory action which draws and pulls down into human densities, confusions, chaos, disintegration, and decay, to turn from all of that, to exalt the youth of the world into the immortal sense, the sense of immortality, the realization of the guardian angel's presence within their lives, the realization of the reality of the invisible world, proving where possible to those receptive hearts that there does exist in reality a beautiful invisible world where so much joy and happiness can emanate into their worlds that they will never desire to exchange the latter for the former, but they will ever desire to express the monumental achievement that points, as do the spires of the churches, toward God. Beloved ones, I am come this morning with a plea upon my lips to the knights and ladies of the flame, to guard the sacred divine principle within the youth of the world. Every child, when laid within the arms of his mother, in soul consciousness, in the radiant inward parts of his being, looks to her as to a divine being for guidance. Motherhood is a sacred privilege. It ought to be guarded and cherished, and those who themselves are not mothers cannot become mothers. Those who are gentlemen, even they can serve to guard the immaculate concept of the youth of the world. The quality of love is not strained, beloved one. As that noble consort of mine declares, it droppeth as the gentle dew from heaven to the earth beneath. It is the mercy of God expressing through you, and it is a militant force in the world. Have you stopped to consider that I am speaking to you this morning, and that as I am speaking to you, I wield enough power to shake this entire planet? Do you know, beloved ones, that I could merely lift my little finger and cause entire continents to tremble? The world would say a great earthquake occurred. Well, beloved ones, let us not shake the physical earth alone if we must shake the world's conditions, but let us shake the spiritual consciousness of man. Let us quicken the spiritual consciousness of man within men, so that they become aware of it. Let us invoke the Immaculate Concept and do it militantly. Let us come together as a unified body of spiritual aspirants, those of us ascended and those of you yet descended into form, aspiring to ascend. Let us unite our energies beneath the image of the infant Messiah, grown and matured to the fullness of his own immortal Christ image. Let us hold men as in a chalice, dear to the heart of God. For, beloved ones, the thoughts men think carry far more weight than they know or dream of in their own intelligence or musing. Beloved ones, great civilizations of the world have been builded by the power of thought. My Son declared this unto men. And the law has become generally accepted. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Well, beloved ones, consider for a moment the power of your thought, your right thought in action. Consider the virtue that can be externalized upon this planet, because you actively live in the divine consciousness and actively extend that consciousness as a sun shining in splendor to those orbiting around you by association. Oh, beloved ones, if you recognize that you are a son of God, shining within your own solar system, if you see other people not as tiny planets, but as radiant suns that need to be awakened, precious seeds of God's light that need to be nourished, sheep of the eternal sheepfold that need to be made aware of the great shepherd, you will do the work of God. You will sustain our body upon earth. You will militantly oppose disunifying forces, sinister activities that seek to divide and divide and divide and divide and conquer the spiritual aspirants of the world until they have broken them one by one and toppled this beautiful civilization potential into an abyss of ruin. Beloved ones, you stand as an honor guard to avoid these conditions, to protect this activity of Saint Germain, to sustain the activity of God upon earth. This is no myth or fable. It is the reality of the eternal presence seeking to express itself in the immaculate motherhood of God within each lady of heaven, and the protective armor of the fatherhood of God in each gentleman, each knight, each lady, graciously adorned in immortal raiment. In the name of the Prince, Siddhartha Gautama, the Lord of the world, my son, as well as the Christ, I greet you now, once again, in taking my leave of you. In the name of beloved ascended Master Jesus, also my Prince, I greet you each one. And in the mighty name of God I am, written within each one of your hearts, I seal you. The light is supreme. Wherever it dwells and abides, it fulfills the dream of God, making of that dream a divine reality forever. So build, so sustain, so direct, so perfect, O thou immortal Spirit, within the evolving consciousness of the ladies and gentlemen of heaven, knights, lords and ladies of the flame, of the sacred fire, from the heart of God. I am. I thank you and I bid you good morning.
Arrow released from the bow of the infinite archer finds its mark within the heart of men. So proceeds the ray of divine love, effulgent in all the glory of God, to penetrate first into the heart of man long before the archer can retrieve this arrow of love and give to the beloved the fullness of all that he is, of all that man shall be, of all that life shall express. The wisdom of the ages, the infinite compassion of God, the infinite love of God, the charge of the eternal inheritance is given to all, with the first issuing forth from the heart of God into individuality. A duality then exists whereby there is God and man. Man, the manifestation of God, and God, the creator of that manifestation. Beloved ones, man, in his search for God, is also an archer, and he too draws the bowstring taut and releases in his search his love back to the heart of the Creator. Before the arrow can be retrieved in each case, there is much to be done, a path to be traversed, a journey to be ended, and a victory to be won. The plan of God is quite simple, but it requires time and the pressure of acceptance by every life stream. The giver gives the gift. The recipient must accept, must utilize, must cherish, adore, and rejoice in the perfection that is entrusted to it, to him as a pearl of great price. Beloved of the light, you have heard it said that men perceive as through a glass, and that men perceive in part and know in part. This is the time span between the radiating forth of the arrow of love from the heart and the accomplishment of retrieving the arrow of love. Do you see then, beloved ones, that the journey of your existence into matter and form, into human densities, is in order you might become a son of God, one shining in radiant splendor, like unto the Father. O beloved ones, human density, in all of its opaqueness, so seldom realizes the beautiful transcendence of the eternal spheres. The rapture of our octave is seldom understood or felt in your octave as it ought to be, because mankind have in their four lower bodies accepted the pressure and the feelings of the mass consciousness. They have not understood the eternal plan. They wander as in a maze, and they struggle to find the riddle of their existence. We who have won our victory, we who have achieved our spiritual independence, desire to serve mankind. And so tonight, as I am come to you, even Orion, in honor of the great light of God radiating within that beautiful constellation which bears my name, I am come to bring drops of the infinite wisdom to you, in order that your hearts may find understanding and peace, in order to bring to the world at large that understanding which will widen the borders of the kingdom of God upon earth and make the brotherhood of man a reality beyond the pale of mere words. An infinite capacity to understand and to relate the individual parts to the whole manifestation of the divine radiance. Have you ever seen a broken sunbeam, a shaft bent and twisted? Beloved ones, mankind are a broken sunbeam, a disheveled heap of rubble. But God has not discarded mankind. Mankind, in their vanity and wandering away from the everlasting light of God, have turned their back upon this great source, this radiance of eternity, this beautiful light of God, which ought to stain their soul with purity. Rather, mankind have endured the pain and stain of sin, and it is as though a dye had penetrated the substance of their being and colored all that they see, until their clarity of vision can no longer be called clarity. Their vision is so limited, so concepted in humanistic ideas, so devoid of the wonders of our spheres of light. And yet, as you assemble yourselves together this eve, this holy eve, for all eves are holy, beloved ones, the dawn symbolizes the outpouring of the Father's love, and the eve symbolizes the reception of that love by the Mother, and the conception is the perfect creation of everlasting peace within the heart. Character of God, the character of Christ, the character of immortal life, the character of divine love is your own character. Emblazon it into your very existence by the pressure of your acceptance of this, and you will be obedient to the response of the fiat of the Creator, who spoke and said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and he wove upon the loom of cosmic creation all that is both visible and invisible, and beheld with his eyes that it was good. Ye are a part of that creation. I am an Elohim, and I have observed the struggles of those elemental beings that are so little understood by the mankind of earth. I have beheld the services and labors of a tiny elemental striving to sustain the radiance of a buttercup upon the hillsides of the world. How many of you understand, as your eyes feast upon the nature kingdom, the tremendous spiritual power and glory that manifests in that kingdom because of the service of the tiny elementals? We who are the Elohim embody the great feeling of the Most High. We are a part of the eternal creation. Our beings and the fiber of our existence is charged with the divine radiance which we radiate forth into the feeling body of mankind and to the universal order of things. Beloved ones, I am come tonight to radiate into your midst greater understanding, greater compassion, greater purpose, greater meaning, and the very essence of divine love. Elohim. Come, thou holy cherubs of Chamuel's band. Come, thou radiant force field of immortal spheres. Thou cosmic light, by the power of the 3 times 3 and by the power of the sacred fire, I call now to the heart of beloved Alpha and Omega in the great central sun. Behold, behold the radiance of the Eternal One, creating now beauteous pink cosmic hearts composed of immortal substance, charged with the love radiance of the Eternal One. Behold, I see now, coming forth and issuing forth from the great central sun, carried to the earth and conveyed by millions of cherubs, tiny radiant beings of light with the faces of miniaturized angels. I see now conveyed to the earth, into the atmosphere of this room, 3 beautiful hearts. One, beloved one, for your physical form. One for your mental body. And one for your feeling world. Each one within the force field of this room is receiving now, by reason of the grace of God, 3 beautiful pink hearts descending from the great central sun, charged with the love of God, to purify your physical forms, to purify your mental body, to purify your feeling world. And beloved ones, the violet flame will cleanse your etheric world until you stand forth as radiant suns, shining in solar splendor, shining with galactic splendor, shining with universal splendor, shining with the radiance of the sun behind the sun. Receive then the blessing of these 3 beautiful pink hearts, descending to your force field now, resembling somewhat iridescent mother of pearl, and descending on a beautiful pearly white ray into the force field of each individual, conveyed by angelic hands. Beloved ones, if there are those that do not believe in angels, remember that we understand and we have compassion upon those that are yet out of the way. The brittleness of human concepts shall be shattered by the dawn of immortal truth, and millions who know not the pathway eternal shall turn and serve the light until the light serves them to make this earth a shining planet. You who are here within the force field in orbit of the great white brotherhood, within the protective arms and love of the brothers in white, are blessed. And I say to you who know, and to you who know not, blessed are ye who have received this gift from the heart of Alpha and Omega, issued in response to my fiat and request. Beloved ones, the days ought to be shortened. The world's travail is not the desire of the love ray of God. The travail of the world ought to be shortened because the elect invoke it. If you are the elect who desire to make your calling and election sure, you will cognize the needs of the hour. You will recognize the need to imbibe and ingest the divine radiance until you find yourselves no longer compatible with the vibratory action of the outer world and almost uncomfortable in that atmosphere in which you formerly moved, when you find yourselves preparing and desiring with all your heart to spend as much time as possible at night while your physical form sleeps in the octaves of light, communing with the great divine intelligences of the universe and receiving from the heart of God and those great cosmic teachers who are able the wisdom and the power and the love that will charge forth into the world and sweep the world free from all that ought never to have been. Beloved ones, pause now and reckon with the eternal principles of life. Do you think, beloved ones, that those children entering into the kindergarten or the first grade of school are able to understand the wisdom which is released to college students or those in the universities of the world? Do you think, beloved ones, that the children of God upon this planet, for all of the great wisdom released to them, have understood the mysteries of God with eternal certainty? Beloved ones, those upon this planet who have made their ascension have spoken to one another and declared that they were just beginning to enter into the radiance of the transcendent eternal one. For the radiance of God transcends itself and beholds infinite capacity for expansion, for radiant expression. Mankind in their human density can scarcely realize the tones and the power of divine love. The presence of God seems afar off from them, and they do not know that the light of God that does not fail is stirring the energies of their world in order to bestow upon them the angelic gifts from the heart of God, which will enable mankind to be a living Christ, fashioned in the likeness of the Eternal One. Beloved ones, the arrow has found its mark in your heart, and the arrow sent from you unto God has long ago found its mark in the heart of God. And there from the heart of God the divine responses pass forth through the entire hierarchy of heaven, and mankind are answered. You have heard it said that the call compels the answer. Well, it is so. The call does compel the answer, and the light of God that does not fail responds to every human request made in sincerity according to the great cosmic law. The limitations of karma, those human limitations imposed by mankind upon themselves, cause them to express a lesser quality than the great light intends. But that is not the fault of the great cosmic law, for the great law does not apply itself. Mankind must apply the law. Therefore I come to you tonight with the wisdom and love of God, charging forth into your world those concepts that will enable you to apply this law, because you desire to apply it, because you love the light, because you honor the light, because you honor the cosmic honor flame of God. which builds the immortal character of the immortals within you, and causes you to shed as a cocoon the ignorance of your former conceptions and ideas. Beloved ones, mankind must emerge as from a chrysalis. They must enter into the great shining radiance, whereby their bodies are changed, so that they, as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, may enter the fiery furnace of life's trials and emerge victorious without the smell of smoke upon them. Beloved ones, you have heard how that Archangel Michael succored Joan of Arc when she burned at the stake, and advised her to inhale the smoke so that she would not feel the effects of the fire. Well, beloved ones, I tell you that there are innumerable martyrs upon this planet who have offered their life's energies to the Eternal One to be consecrated for the benediction of all life. Many of these are unsung. They are unknown by mankind. No books have been written upon them. They are simple, humble people, and yet they are our friends. For example, as I am speaking to you this night, there is a light ray being projected to a small farmhouse located in the state of Indiana, where a small boy is upon his knees beside his bed, praying for his brother who is suffering from leukemia. Beloved ones, the entire cosmic hosts have taken interest in the intense fervor and devotion and love ray which this child has invoked on behalf of his brother. Like Damon and Pythias, the love of this boy for his brother has stirred the energies of heaven, and the tiny cherubs are winging from far distant regions of space and time to bring comfort to his heart and healing and beloved strength to this child who is his brother. Hearts of the angels are moved. The hearts of the Elohim are moved by the love ray sent forth by this child. If then the hosts of heaven are stirred by reason of one small child in your octave, what do you think, beloved ones, we do when a living Christ walks the sands of this planet? How do you think we feel when a life stream, embodiment after embodiment, serves the never-failing light of God, offers his consecrated energies and radiance upon the solar altars, and gives his life's energy to mankind, to those who are not even grateful enough to breathe a prayer of thanks? When that individual is in dire need, when that individual is in Gethsemane, in travail, and needs the assistance of our octave, if we will do this for a child, think you not we will do this for an avatar, for a great one? Well, beloved ones, we will do it for all who will summon enough of their energies to cry to the very heart of God, not with a selfish motive, not with a desire to cause themselves to have name or fame, but because they have faith in the eternal purposes of God, in the presence of God, in the love of God, in the healing power of God, to reckon that that eternal radiance is able to sustain them, because they are able to have faith in the eternal purpose and behold that eternal purpose as the only true reality in existence, and see all else as but a shadowed figment of the imaginations of men, sustained by the mocking energies of those who have mimicked others and have not turned to face the radiant sun of their own God being. mankind today have the love of God. There is no cause for the eternal or seeming eternal frustration upon this planet. And therefore the power of the Mahachohan and the power of the Great White Brotherhood is activated tonight to girdle this planet around with such an intense and fiery action of the love ray as to cause the recalcitrant energies of the ages within men to be stirred, that they may recognize as never before the power to sustain world peace, to feed the hungry, to raise the dead, to heal the sick, to cleanse the lepers, and to go forth victoriously in the name of God and claim this world for the immortal presence that created and sustained it. Think you that I am come tonight with scorn? I am not come with scorn for any of you or for all upon this planet. I am come charged with love. I have my scorn only for the discordant energies themselves, and it is a withering scorn designed to transmute in mankind those unwanted and unsavory conditions which mankind themselves desire to see changed. Alter then the countenance of yourselves. Alter it by the power of faith, the faith that lived in the heart of Daniel as he faced the lions in the den, the faith that lived in the heart of Daniel as he refused to obey the edict of the king who placed him there, but continued daily to pray unto God without fear of the censure of man, who had but power over his mortal frame and were unable to fetter the mighty, untrammeled love of his immortal spirit. Beloved ones, you are spirits of flame. You are endowed with the power of the I Am name. You are the children of God. There is emblazoned upon your solar altar, for you have a solar altar just as you have a solar plexus. And there is emblazoned there the love ray of God. The love ray of God is the love rays of God, and it will elevate you just as certainly as your lifts today convey you upward in your buildings until you will enter into the victory of your ascension in the light. But it does not happen by chance. It happens, as Saint Germain has told you and as others have told you, because you seized every opportunity for service and expression. You did not acknowledge the weariness of your physical form because you knew that the limitless energy of God was able to renew the cells of your body, to sustain your minds day after day, for your hearts could beat forever and never cease to beat, even in this physical form, if it were the will of God. And beloved ones, it is the will of God to quicken you and to exalt you out of this physical form into a deathless solar body which can move through the immortal spheres in octaves of happiness and peace forever. This is no figment of man's imagination, and we, you see, do not have an imagination such as mankind have. We have the concept of reality which we behold face to face. When you behold face to face as we do, you too will no longer need or require to see through a glass darkly. You too will see face to face, and this is the will of God. The greatest gold is the refining power of the sacred fire within your hearts. So, beloved ones, watch this year as you watched last year. Watch this coming year and behold it as a year of victory. Begin your own conceptual imaginings and imagings of a year of victory for the ascended masters. You know the power of thought, then use it on behalf of the light. Use it not to sustain the vibratory action of negative ideas or connotations, but use it to expand the victory of the kingdom of God within you. Use it to produce greener pastures where the sheep of God may feed, where the lambs of God may lie down protected, where the good shepherd may sustain the unity of his kingdom among men, not divided men, not unkind men, not unloving men, but loving, kind, gracious, courteous, divine beings, fashioned and fashioning themselves in the immortal image which gave them birth, sustains them, comforts them, and is the perfection of divine love in manifestation everywhere I am. Peace then from the heart of God, peace then from the great love ray, peace from the magnificent outpouring from on high. Peace be unto you, and may that peace not be just for a moment. May that peace be sustained within your octaves forever. May it be a peace which passeth all human understanding, because it is the peace of the eternal presence. The peace of the eternal presence would lift you up in consciousness, buoy you up in spirit, exalt you into understanding, and love you free. This is the God that fashioned you. This is no idol of human concept. This is no idol God. This is God in action in you, changing, altering, transcending himself, and giving you all of his own inheritance, his comfort, his joy. Accept it then from the heart of an Elohim. Accept it then from the heart of an archangel. Accept it then from the heart of the ascended master. Accept it then from the hearts of one another. Give it then to the world. Give it to all. Love them free. They are free. Let them know it, and be persuaded yourself. I think then that the fiat of the angels, peace on earth, goodwill toward men, will begin to be a reality upon earth, that the hungry shall be fed, that the sick shall be healed, that those weary of body and warped of mind shall go free, that the life streams that came forth from the heart of the Father shall rejoice. Some of you may have witnessed the United Nations Children's Choir in action, or beheld it upon your television screen. There you were able to see the many color rays of humanity manifesting the beauteous tones of love, the melodies from the hearts of the children of the world. Well, the children of the world are the men and women of tomorrow. They are the researchers of the future and the sustainers of that which is to come. See that your mark is placed upon the infinite sands of this planet, and let that mark be footprints of the living Christ upon the sands of time. So go forth tonight and through the year and through the avenue of the years with the blessing of the Elohim. Almighty brother Elohim, descend now, I pray, and consecrate these life streams anew to the eternal virtue. Bequeath to them again the understanding of their immortal birthright. Renew again within them the conception of the Father. Let the vortex of divine energies, arising according to the perfect conal pattern, ascend now within their force fields and direct them to the all-enfolding presence of their great God source, their own mighty I Am presence. Let them now, resting under the aegis and mantle of the Eternal One, abide forever under the shadow of the Almighty, who has arisen with healing in his wings to promote the good of the universe. To the universal God, I say, let us sing our praise and adoration. To the universal good made manifest in man, let us sing a new song. To the universal good, the world around, let us dedicate ourselves anew. I bow to the God within you. Thank you, and good evening. Hail, thou dawn roseate with the love of the Eternal One. Hail, celestial spirits of fire. Hail, O hearts of men. Adore him and praise him, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, the God enthroned within man's heart, and the God to whom every angel and archangel pays adoration and homage. Beloved ones, we have witnessed dawn after dawn in infinite number upon celestial systems of worlds infinite in number, and we rejoice yet still in constancy and joy with each new dawn, with the freshness of the spirit of immortality. We tire not, for we are tireless servants of the Most High, beholding each day as a chalice of opportunity into which we may pour our energies, consecrated to the adoration of the fire breath of God. Beloved ones, the reality of your immortal consciousness cannot be exceeded by human ideas, nor by human thoughts, or by human creation, for all that is noble, all that is grand, all that is glorious within the consciousness of man and concerning mortal achievements is the work and service of the Most High God as he moves the arms, the heads, the hearts, and the ideas of men, empowering them with the vision of things both temporal and eternal. I am come this morning to girdle the world around with the love of the angelic host and the love of our Lord the Mahachohan. Behold this globe symbolizing the world. The world is a reality to the heart of God, and the tangible radiance of the third ray as it encircles the earth today, charged with a message of love from the heart of God, is a tangible reality which all the crowned heads and ruling heads of the world could not gainsay as the work of a fanatic or the ideas of a mortal consciousness. Our love is a piercing, tangible reality, piercing the gloom of human thought and endowing mankind with the glory of immortal spheres. These spheres have spoken to the hearts of men throughout the ages. They have echoed within the waiting consciousness of myriad individuals, and those individuals have recognized the still small voice that thundered from Horeb's height, that thundered from the mountain tops, and yet can speak in the gentlest whisper of an angel's prompting. Rejoice, ye hearts of men. Rejoice in the nobility of your own immortal being. Feel the pulsations of the flame of love from the heart of God, the pink radiance that softly bathes mankind in the glow ray which is captured by the chaliced roses pink, and the radiance of the flowers throughout the world expressing the radiance of the color rays. Rejoice then in this beautiful pink radiance, specifically charged with a flame of adoration. This flame which calls to you in its wondrous pulsations, I am the Holy Christ flame, expressing the love of God among men, expressing the love of God in the universal consciousness. Have you thought, beloved ones, that your consciousness is a great chalice, that your consciousness engulfs the universe and is greater by far than your mere physical form? Your consciousness with the angels, in reality, is a mighty chalice into which life has poured its consciousness, and God has endowed you with His grace. The principles of immortality are latent within many, but they are active within the hearts of the heavenly host and the angelic hierarchy. They stir the recalcitrant energies of men, and they quicken the consciousness of men to know that, behold, they live. Behold the consciousness of the risen Christ, the pulsating energies of the resurrection flame. Behold the pulsating energies of love. The flame of adoration a myth? Nay, I tell you, the flame of adoration is tangible. It is more real than the brittle, ephemeral reality which men call daily living. The consciousness of the ascended host is given to mankind, to their waiting chalice consciousness, in order to resurrect in them the great transcendence of their own immortal birthright. You have heard now from my heart concerning this flame. Then feel its blazing love as 10,000 angels of the adoration flame raise their cosmic swords charged with divine love and pierce the gloom this day surrounding the maya of the world and the delusion of the world with a shattering power such as the world has never known before. I ask the angels of adoration to raise their beauteous twin-edged pink swords now and to call forth at inner levels a specific harmonious adoration to the God flame within the great central sun. And as it charges forth into your midst and into the force field of the planet, I ask that the hearts of all men be quickened to feel the flame of immortal liberty, love, wisdom, and power in cosmic action here. I am here and I am there. Behold, I am everywhere. The light of God that does not fail shines upon land and sea. It shines upon the Emerald Isle, upon Ireland, so beloved by El Morya. It shines upon the continent of South America, where children are wandering in the fields and gathering wild flowers. It shines everywhere within the waiting chaliced hearts of those who will receive it. Stand now, therefore, and hear the music of the spheres. O shining, radiant perfection, from the heart of the Eternal One, every archangel bows in adoration to the tumultuous transcendence of thy love, quivering in shafts of golden radiance, flooding the hearts of men, bathing them with the oil, the holy oil descended in an ampule of cosmic light. Blessed art thou, O thou mighty I am presence of all, thou God flame eternal upon the hearts of men, upon the hearts of angels, upon the altars of heaven. Blessed art thou, blessed is thy radiance, blessed is thy consciousness, blessed is thy being, blessed art thou forever and forever. All the heavenly host adore thee. They pour out tireless adoration to thy glory, and they bathe in thy glory, and they adore thee, and they drink thy compassion, they drink thy eternal wisdom, they drink thy eternal power, and they expand. And they expand into thy dominion, their own dominion, into their reality, their own reality. They drink into the unity that I am. They bathe in the unity that I am. They adore the unity that I am. For they say with thee, behold, I am that I am. Won't you please be seated? I have stood in the atmosphere of earth, high over the cities of Babylon. I was present when the great love ray of God descended over the Tower of Babel to cause confusion of speech to enter into the hearts of those who were there present, to divide them and separate them from one another because of the manifestation of wickedness. I beheld how the great love, wisdom of God scattered men that they should not continue to learn wickedness from one another, but that rather in their scattering they should find more opportunity to commune in the solaces, the quiet places of the world, with the inner radiance of their being. Beloved ones, countless dawns have I beheld, but the dawn over the Tower of Babylon, the day of the confusion of speech, was a memorable one in the chronicles of earth. It was a memorable one even to the heart of an archangel. Many are the mysteries which mankind have faced, and some of the mysteries seem almost ponderable and ponderous to the heart of an archangel. Why did men, created and endowed with all of the glorious opportunity which was given to those of us known as archangels, why did men turn from the great light which gave them birth, their great God source? Why did they turn toward the outer, toward matter, toward human creation, toward the outer consciousness? Why did they feel the need to compete with one another? Why did they feel the need to earn arts of deception, to learn arts of deception and practice them upon one another, when the simplicity of the mighty Spirit of truth within them would have endowed them with the power to perceive in one another's aura the very truth of their being, and no deception could have been practiced whatsoever if the mankind of earth would have held their glorious contact with their mighty I Am presence. But they wandered away and became children of clay rather than children of the sun. And as they turned toward the clay and began to fashion houses of clay, working in the world as in a pile of rubble, and esteeming it as such when it is composed of pure light substance, then mankind, by reason of spiritual wickedness in high places, descended from their high estate. And I shall not rehearse the wickedness which mankind externalized. It is not pleasant for me to contemplate, and certainly you have been surfeited in it, O mankind of earth, and desire not to dwell upon it or in its vibratory action. And therefore I merely touch upon it, because by contrast I would point out the immortal birthright which mankind ought to cherish. Popularity, beloved ones, popularity is a great myth. The mankind of earth have been overcome by the juggernaut of human opinion. Mankind down through the centuries have gazed upon one another to perceive if man approved of God. Well, beloved ones, God is good. The words may be simple, but the idea is profound because it is eternal. And the God that made the earth, the sea, the land, all that is, in gazing upon his creation, spoke those blessed words, "Behold, that which I have made is good." And in a similitude, the creation, the reflected creation, manifested the pure light of that radiance which gave it birth. The world glowed with the transcendence of atomic energy. The bodies of men glowed. No cosmetic was required to adorn those cheeks, made rosy with the power of divine love. No cosmetic achievement was required for those ruby lips that breathed a prayer of praise to the great high priest, the holy Christ self of their being. No cosmetic adornment was required for the beautiful clearness of their eyes, splendid with the light of God. No cosmetic adornment was required for the crown of the angelic radiance known as their hair. The hair, beloved ones, piercing out from man as mighty light rays, each one charged with pure gold, the color of the sun shining in his strength. O beloved ones, how beautiful was that perfect creation, that immortal conveyance of the identity of God transferred to man as his birthright. How splendid it was, and how needless it was for any individual to compete with another individual, seeing all partook of the same common table, the blessedness of the eternal radiance of the Father. And I say to you, men have often spoken, saying, "Shall that day come again?" Beloved ones, that day is ever here. It belongs to the eternal day of oneness. It is only in the separate consciousness of mankind, passing through the spheres of human density, time changes, density changes, transportation and phases of consciousness. All of this causes mankind to see the love of God veiled through a human veil, qualified by man with his opinions, his ideas, and his concepts. If those concepts be pure, then the beautiful externalizations reflect more of the divine radiance. If those externalizations are aborted or are opaqued by human densities, they do not reflect the radiance of the Eternal One. And I am come today to teach you the power of adoration's flame. Those of you who are charged specifically with the wisdom of the keepers of the flame know the beauty and power in declaring, "O God, you are so magnificent." Will you declare it now with the voice of an archangel, with me? Will you repeat 9 times, "O God, you are so magnificent"? O God, you are so magnificent. 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 Oh God, you are so magnificent. Oh God, you are so magnificent. Oh God, you are so magnificent. Within your hearts is a pearl of great price. In rainbow iridescent splendor, that pearl reflects the beauty and holiness of God. Men dwelling in a lesser state of consciousness, men afflicted with human lethargy and the disease of delay, procrastination, doubt, and fear, do not perceive the great pearl that is within you. You have been admonished that you ought not to cast it before them, but to retain it as did beloved Mother Mary, who is of our kingdom, within your own chaliced heart. But the day is coming, and swiftly, when the knowledge of God, the true knowledge of God, shall cover the earth around about as a mighty sea, when the flood tide of his love shall inundate the human concepts, and men shall abide within their own ark of salvation, dwelling in the holy place to which Moses carried the ark of the covenant, dwelling in the place where the Shekinah glory of the Most High God ought to shine forth, the radiance from the portals of the heart. For within the heart of God is the adoration flame of pure divine love. What is the adoration flame? First letter of your alphabet begins with A. The first declaration of God is Alpha, the beginning. Beloved ones, adoration to God is a service of all men. And when the great streams and rivers of divine purity flowing forth from the crystal throne enter into every waiting heart, the answer shall be given to men to all that they seek. Do you think, O children of mankind, that your silent musings are unheard? Do you think that your prayers uttered sometimes in despair and hopelessness are not understood? Those of the angelic host who comforted the Christ in Gethsemane have assuaged much human grief, have brought oceans of comfort to mankind from the invisible octaves, unknown by mankind, unrealized as the service of an angel. Men say they do not believe in angels. Well, I am here. I am here this morning to give within your hearts the tangible witness of our reality, the reality that leaps for joy at the mighty name of God I am. If you will hear the bells now tolling from your steeples here, you will recognize that there is an eternal Angelus which descends upon the hearts of men. You will recognize that there is a day of eternal prayer in the temple of lives of nobility. You will recognize that the love of God flooding forth and charging forth into the newborn infant, flooded forth with hope, the hope of the hearts of heaven. Beloved ones, your hearts are touched by a twinge of nostalgia as you contemplate your own mother's love for you. What then of the love of the cosmic mother? What of the hopes of God for men? What of his hope? What of it? Beloved ones, pause to consider and recognize that you ought to receive from his heart not only a touch, but the fullness of his immortal purpose. It is your responsibility to externalize it. The entire hosts of heaven, the angelic host, the cosmic masters, the entire spirit of the great white brotherhood stand ready, willing and able, waiting to assist you in outpicturing the great grandeur and nobility of your own being. Come then and reason together, saith the Lord. Enter into the great temple of your own being, a temple builded eternal in the heavens. The Christ consciousness of your own higher mental body. Your holy Christ self is the chief cornerstone thereof. It does not build in deceit. It does not build in confusion or hypocrisy. It does not build in disunity. It builds in the eternal unity of God. E pluribus unum. One out of many one. From the spirit of oneness came forth diversification, but all returns in heart and essence to the one, because in that essence is the iridescence of God, the splendor of joy to the world, peace upon earth, on all worlds, goodwill toward men. The Spirit of God as a girdle, as a garment of love, sweeps the world around. The roses from the heart of the Ma Chohan burst beneath the feet of men, and they speak to them of those days of childhood innocence when men were not aware of so-called sin, of the effects of karma, or the need for mitigation, when mercy was not thought of, for men only expressed the perfectness of God. In that city of God, that city four square, the perfection of God, eternal, rests yet in the temple of immortal being. It awaits each life stream, own decision, own desire, each life stream's own acceptance and the pressure of acceptance of that immortal opportunity. The fraternal love of God must express beneath the fatherhood of God, beneath the brotherhood of man, but it must express in exaltation. As I came to you this morning, I have descended from our comfortable octave into your octave, but I descended that I might cause you to ascend in consciousness. I came down that I might elevate you. There are many of you who have striven to rise into our octave, and you elevated your own consciousness and soul to our octave. And so there are two methods by which contact with the heart of an archangel may be achieved. One is when I choose to descend, to carry my radiant energies from the higher spheres of life. And the other is when you choose to ascend in consciousness and consciously contact our octave? Do you think, beloved ones, that seeing I am here this morning, willing to give my energy and charge it forth into the world, I would not respond to your call? I tell you, the very heart of God has charged every archangel and every being of heaven with a desire to emulate him and to respond to the heart calls of his creation. What is our purpose? The endowing of mankind with our blessing, that they might remember that which they have long forgotten, that they might enter into that in which they have not pulsated for a long time, that they might enter into the pulsations of the pure love flame of God. What is the pure love flame of God, beloved ones? You are touched with one little iota, one little portion of the love ray of God, and your hearts are flooded with ecstasy. Do you know the meaning of the flaming bush that was not consumed? Do you know the meaning of your life being so charged with divine radiance that even the tips of your fingers are scintillating and giving off the sacred fire? Do you know the meaning of the Scriptures? Behold, I see men as trees walking. Do you know the consciousness of mankind that reaches down into the heart of the earth and extends its roots into the material consciousness and recognizes it as charged with the divine radiance, as the creation of God, and then extends its leafy branches high into the heavens? For only God can make a tree. Do you recognize the nerves within your body, beloved ones, as a network of the divine radiance extending its consciousness up to be charged with the radiance of God? Do you perceive that the very blood flowing through your veins, beloved ones, is actually charged with the golden pink radiance of God? The love flame pulsing from your hearts, the love flame charging your nerves and your whole body with the radiance of God. Well, beloved ones, when you understand this and use this great law of the sacred fire, your bodies will be a living, pulsating flame of love. You will find that you are a god of your own universe, and you will no longer know the pain of unhappiness. There are temporary eclipses of the sun of your being while you are here, beloved ones. You must pay no attention to it. You must look for the radiance behind the human clouds and veils, and know that it is there. Truly, as has been sung this morning, be still and know that I am God. O adoration flame, thou eternal pulsations of the mighty I Am name, bless these thy children and all the children of light upon the earth. Endow them with that wisdom which will expand within them the liberty flame, which will expand within them the compassion that knows the meaning of unity, not as a mere word, but as the power of love in action to unify the hearts of all people, that there may truly dwell among men those in touch with the angelic host, those who know the meaning of glory to God in the highest, and upon earth peace, goodwill toward men. I thank you, and I bid you good morning from the angelic host.